great day already for you. So my lesson today is Mrs. Spider's Tea Party, written by David Kirk. And as you're watching this video, don't forget that I'm always going to put a little author tag and a link to his website or her website when you see these. So let's see what happens at the tea party. One lonely spider sipped her tea while gazing at the sky. She watched the insects on the leaves and many flying by. If I had friends like these, she sighed, who'd stay a while with me, I'd sit them down on silken chairs and serve them cakes and tea. Two timid beetles, Ike and May, kept from the woodwork that same day. But when Miss Spider begged, "Please stay," they shrieked, "Oh no!" and they dashed away. Oh, poor Miss Spider. 3 fireflies flew inside that night, their spirits high, their tails alight. They spied the web and squeaked in fear, "We'd better get away from here." The little trio did not feel they'd care to be a spider's meal. How is a spider different than a firefly? Is there another name for a firefly? 4 bumblebees buzzed by outside. "Please come to tea," Miss Spider cried. The 4 ignored her, swaying there. She waved a tea towel in the air. She took a cup and tapped the glass, and one bee spoke to her at last. "We would be fools to take our tea with anyone so spidery." So what insects have we seen so far? And how are insects different than Miss Spider? She's an arachnid. So how's an arachnid different than insects? Within the shadows of the room, just peeking from behind a broom, 5 grinning faces bobbed and peered. Miss Spider smiled, her heart was cheered. Descending for a closer look, she danced into the gloomy nook, but sadly found those jolly mugs belonged, alas, to rubber bugs. Look, she was all excited, and they're fake rubber bugs. Some ants strode in, they numbered 6, but ants with spiders they will not mix. She brewed them tea from hips of roses, and the proud platoon turned up their noses. A fine bouquet concealed its prize of 7 dainty butterflies. Miss Spider, watching from the wall, was not aware of them at all. Look at those little pretty butterflies. The tea table was set for 8, with saucers, cups, and silver plate. The cakes were fresh, the service gleamed, yet no one would arrive, it seemed. Her company, in no demand, left her cup for every hand. Poor Miss Spider's all alone. No one showed up to be at her party with her. 9 spotted moths kept safe and warm in shelter from a thunderstorm. They stood beneath an open sash and watched the jagged lightning flash. Miss Spider dropped down on a thread, a silver tray above her head. She'd hoped to please them, but instead... they flew away in mortal dread. What does that mean? What does mortal dread mean? It means they were scared she was going to eat them. That's what was wrong. "They've left me all alone," she cried. She dabbed her eyes and sadly sighed. "It's plain no bug will ever stay." Her tears splashed down upon the tray. Poor Miss Spider. 10 tiny steaming cups of tea were perched atop her trembling knee. She sipped and sobbed and heard a cough and turned to see a small wet moth, a fragile thing so soaked by rain, his wings too damp to fly again. Oh no. What do you think that moth is thinking right now? She smiled and took a checkered cloth to cloak the frail and thankful moth. They talked and snacked on tea and pie until his tiny wings were dry. Then lifting him with tender care, she tossed him gently in the air. Do you think that's what she thought was going to happen? Do you think that little moth thought that she was going to take care of him? Or that she was going to eat him? The moth told Ike, then Ike told May, who went from bug to say, there is no reason for alarm. She's never meant us any harm. So later on that afternoon, assembled in the dining room, 11 insects came to tea to share Miss Spider's courtesy. Look at how happy she is with all her friends at the tea party. 12 tender violets in a vase presented at Miss Spider's place. Set by her chair so neatly spun, she munched the blossoms one by one. Her friends were glad to watch her feast upon the floral centerpiece. It was a great relief to see she ate just flowers and drank just tea. Miss Spider's reputation grew. Before too long our hostess knew each bug who hopped or crawled or flew, and all their lovely children too. So, did this turn out the way the other insects thought it would? I don't think it did. Instead, now Miss Spider is friends with lots of people. So there's several lessons that go along with this one. So I'm going to work on those today. Okay, so this is our little kid lesson. We've got our 2 older lessons. So the little kid lesson is going to involve tracing our hand and working on the concept of symmetry. So what I did is I took my paper and I folded it in half like a book. This is when kids would say hamburger or hot dog. Well, I fold it like a book. Then I'm going to take my fold line and turn it down. I'm going to put my hand on top of it so that the fold line's down here. Now their hand's going to be smaller than my hand would be, but you want your fingers to go almost to the edge. We're not going to trace the thumb. Our focus is to trace the fingers. So we're going to start on this side, go around, slowly trace around. And you might need your mom or someone to help you trace. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come up and we're going to curve up like that. Okay? So now that we're done that, the next step is to cut it out. Remember, when we cut, we use our scissor cutting rules, which are to cut slow, to take our time, to stay in our zone. Don't get in someone else's space. If you're walking around the room because you got to put them away or pick them up, you carry them with your hand on the blade. You never put scissors near your face, and you take your time. The sharpest part of your scissor is not down here, it's down here. Scissors are not chainsaws. Your pointer finger goes on the bottom and your thumb goes on the top. So I'm going to cut mine out right now. I'll go all the way around. So I want to get to the very end, and then I get to open it up. And remember, Miss Spider had 8 legs. She's an arachnid. Arachnid spiders have 8 legs. I'm going to curve my top off a little bit more. So here is Mrs. Spider. Now your job is to turn it into a spider with patterns. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by, let's put some eyes up here on the top. Now you have to decide, are you going to have a nice spider like Mrs. Spider, or are you going to have a mean spider? So I'm going to have a nice spider. And then I'm going to curve from here to here. So that's the body on both sides. And Miss Spider had a pattern on her body, so I'm going to put a pattern on this one. I'm going to put polka dots. Polka dots. You could do hearts. You could do diamonds. You could do stars. You could do zigzags, or vertical stripes, or horizontal stripes. And remember, the goal of a pattern when it comes to an animal is to help them hide so that they can either be a predator or a prey. The difference being a predator is hunting and a prey is hiding. So there's my body, there's my head. Now I need my legs. Now, they're really fat legs, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make zigzag lines down my fingers. As you know, an arachnid has 8 legs. I'm going to come down here on my other side. Now you could do straight lines. You could turn the fingers into the legs. I think I'm just going to make thick zigzag lines all the way down. And then I'm going to come back to those and I'm going to make them a little bit thicker. Now, like I said, but if you wanted this whole thing to be the leg, you could have the whole thing be the leg, but I'm not going to have mine be the whole thing. My legs are zigzag. You could do vertical, you could do horizontal, you decide. You could do wavy legs or bumpy legs. Alright, so there's my spider, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to give her some eyelashes because it's a girl, and if I wanted to I could put a hair bow on her. So there's my Mrs. Spider.